Hey folks, Alex here, 95 to Freedom. In today's video, we're going to discuss Ulty. Is Ulty a dumpster fire? Is it time to just bail with Ulty after what we've seen happen today? Or is this a buying opportunity? We're going to dive into it in this video. For those who are new, my name is Alex, and this channel I document my journey using dividends to build a portfolio that will one day replace my job. So glad you're here, folks. Let's jump into it. A lot to cover here. For those who are just joining, folks, my portfolio is middle of moving from Fidelity to Robinhood. I have all the reasons on previous videos. You can check those out. But I want to really talk about Ulty today. Okay, so today is x-dividend. Okay, we haven't received. Tomorrow we're going to receive the dividend from Ulty, and it's going to be around 10 cents. And typically, like any other dividend, for those who aren't familiar, on x-dividend, so after the declaration, which was yesterday on Wednesday, on x-dividend, the price of the per share goes down by the dividend amount. So yesterday, okay, folks, yesterday we closed. Let's just go over here. Let's look at 5-day, and we closed at 6. Let's see. Make sure I feed you guys good information. Okay, right here. Market close, 4 o'clock. We close at 6:10, maybe 6:09. Yeah, about 6:09. 6:09 on Wednesday. We want x-dividend. As you can see, in the aftermarket hours, let me zoom in a little bit, folks. In the aftermarket hours, we actually had a rise up to 6:13, which was amazing. Now, this is where the x-dividend happens. You see this huge drop. So we're going from 6:12 down to 6:01, and we continue to see this drop. Now the market opened today, let's take a look here, at 9:30, and we opened at 596. Okay, we went all the way down to 592. This was pretty low bottom. Now expectation at market open, okay, this is x-dividend. Now we're going to see how much of a recovery we're going to have on x-dividend day. And typically, if we get like a 30% recovery, meaning if they're paying out 10 cents and the share price goes up by like 3 or 4 cents, that's pretty good. On a first day recovery, that's not bad. Now, to all of our surprise, it held for a little bit. Now, around this 10:40, a little bit later in the morning, we started to see a second drop. And we got down, folks, as low as 588. Now, at this point, obviously, a lot of folks were wondering, okay, how low is this going to go? I mean, we went from just the day before that, 614, down to 588. That's a bit of a drop. Okay, so the question is, what is the cause of this sudden drop? Is this just a sell-off because folks are losing their confidence into Ulty? Is this the end of our golden goose? What is the problem, right? So obviously, with my account moving, and I haven't really had a chance to do anything at this point because I'm not yet all the way into Robinhood. So all I could do is just watch the price of the share. So I wanted to do a little bit of research. Now, I covered this previously when we talked about why Ulty was flat. This was a video I did probably a couple weeks ago. And we talked about this period from the end of this pullback we had on tariffs, going back to May and all the way through end of July, really. Why were we so flat on Ulty? And what I did was I looked at the holdings that Ulty has. Now let's take a look here. Okay, so these are the top 45% of the assets that Ulty is holding. Number one is Reddit at 5%. Now, Reddit has been actually on a pretty nice upward movement. We had a positive day today. Obviously, it couldn't be from Reddit. Now, as we look down the list, and I'm not going to go through all of it, next one down is Upstart, down 4.5% today. Let's take a look at MSTR, folks. MSTR, 4.35% down. For those of you holding Misty, that probably hurt you today as well. Misty's down 4%. Let's take a look here at NBIS. 3% down. Let's look at SMR. 3.6% down. Let's look at AppLovin. Almost 3% down. Let's look at coin. 0.65% down. Not too bad. Let's look at Vertiv Holdings, whatever that is. 3.5% down. VST, 1.43% down. FSLR, 2.59% down. You can see, folks, a lot of the holdings that Ulty had a pretty good pullback today. And overall, if we look at Ulty, we were down 0.66% overall today. So I think my analysis, again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not telling you guys how to spend your money, what to invest in. But from just looking at the underliers, not really digging into all their options that they did today, all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to bore you guys. The holdings that Ulty's holding, a lot of them had a pretty big dip today. And overall, Ulty still did a pretty decent job considering the pullback and plus being on x-dividend. And really that's I think some good news for those folks who are holding a lot of shares and obviously feeling that pain as we were watching Ulty get below that $6 mark. And the other thing, I think, $6 overall is probably a psychological limit for a lot of folks, and possibly some of that sell-off contributed to it. Once we start getting under $6, maybe some folks started to unload it, which again would have impacted the price of the share. So that is my really analysis on it. Should you buy or should you sell? I can't give you that advice, folks. I'm sitting on about 21,000 shares right now. I had 40,000 shares as of Monday. Unfortunately, I sold some of it when I tried to trade on Ulty, which didn't really work out well for me. Now, in the long run, I think obviously it helped me out because I got out at like 609. So being at 595, we're much lower than that. But again, I missed out on that dividend payment today for the rest of the 19,000 shares. Now, is this going to continue to go down? I don't know. I don't know what these underliers are going to be doing. If we look at, for example, what the NASDAQ and S&P did today, okay, I think it tells a little bit of a different story. If we look at SPY, for example, this S&P 500, it was flat. We started out, really we finished the day today with what the day ended yesterday. Let's look at NASDAQ, QQQ, pretty much flat. We finished the day with what it ended yesterday. So the closest thing I could look at is like the Russell. And again, I don't think that really represents what Ulty's holding, but we see that Russell, comprising of a lot of those small companies, is down 1.24%. And overall, I mean, Ulty, not too bad considering what we've seen, and climbing back to 595 is pretty good from all the way from 588. That's 7 cents rise from its lowest today. So I think if you believe in YieldMax and what they're doing with this fund, this could have been a great buying opportunity if you didn't get into it back, let's say in April, when we had the last lowest of the lows. If you're holding a lot of shares and you bought at 641 back in July, or say you're still holding your shares from when this fund was in its inception, I think you're probably thinking twice about what to do at this point. So again, you got to look at your risk management. How much does Ulty represent your account? Where you're at? Are you breaking even with dividends that you're getting? Or you are in the red? Are you willing to wait a little bit longer and see what happens? When I look at the 1 month trend, folks, I mean, we've been on a downtrend. There's no way to get around that. And I think the not seeing any type of comeback that's, at least at the halfway point, the 620 mark, is a little bit concerning for me. Now, like I said, I'm stuck because my transfer from Fidelity to Robinhood is happening right now. I can't really do much except watch what Ulty is doing at this point. And I think overall, where I sit right now, I'm about probably break even point. I don't think I'm in the red as much. But again, I'd have to do that math, which I don't have in front of me. But how long am I willing to ride this wave down? Am I willing to ride it all the way down to $5? I'm not sure. When I have options to invest into something like QDT or XDT and just seeing the performance of those funds today, I mean, we're in the green today. Last 6 months, obviously, we're still recovering from that dip. Past month, we're flat. This is a different story from Ulti. Again, we're not overpaying those dividends, but it's doing pretty good with what it's paying, about 35%. Let's look at XDT past month, again flat. We're getting about 31% from XDT. The other one I got into was YBTC. This is on Bitcoin. And the other thing happened last night, Bitcoin hit all-time high. I think it was like 125. So Bitcoin, YBTC slightly down 6 month. You can see we're up 0.82%, and this pays like 50% dividend per year. So um, I'm I'm feeling that I'm not sure how much lower I'm willing to ride Ulti at this point. And again, not telling you guys what to do, but I'm gonna play it by ear. I'm gonna watch it. Once my account transfers over, I'll do the math where I'm at, if I'm up or down, or if I'm just break even point, and make the decision with it. Obviously, those folks who got in back in April and holding through even the last few weeks, you probably made a lot of money. So, that was a great opportunity for those of you folks who got in at the right time. So that is my analysis for today, folks. Appreciate you watching. If you like this type of content and you don't want to miss anything else coming up, make sure you click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, folks. What do you think? You guys still holding, or are you ready to unload the goose? Take care, folks.